Number 1. Dreamcatcher. While the group is one of the rare acts managing to go up the river in the hyper-competitive industry, this story is still only true outside their homeland. Because the rock, heavy metal, and dark concept has never been the taste of South Korea, their rank in the country is rather low despite having debuted for 4 years. In their peak years from 2017 to 2019, they had never managed to set foot into the top 20 most famous K-pop girl groups in Korea. Yup, after 3 years into the industry with multiple achievements offshore and some real big world tours, they only ranked 47th out of 50 most famous acts in K-pop. Not only that, their agency even had to send 4 out of 7 members to Mix 9 to boost up the reputation of Dreamcatcher in South Korea. But hold on. Their reputation overseas is a completely different story. Towards the end of the year Dreamcatcher debuted, they received critical acclaim from music critics worldwide for their unique sound that incorporated influences of rock and metal music. Chase Me was ranked number 19 on Billboard's Best K-pop Songs of 2017 Critics' Picks, and the group was also listed as number 3 on Billboard's Best New K-pop Acts in 2017. If the context is in South Korea, you can hardly ever imagine how a group like Dreamcatcher can be put above the literal queens of K-pop, like Blackpink and Twice. However, if you're in Japan, you'll see how normal this is because, in the past, there was even an article in Japan praising Dreamcatcher, while contrasting them with the aces of YG and JYP. On top of that, even when Dreamcatcher just released their first ever EP under their new name titled Prequel on July 27th, they immediately debuted at number 5 on the Billboard World Albums chart, and peaked at number 1 on the US iTunes K-pop Top 100 chart. Their coverage offshore was so huge that in 2018, just 1 year after debut, they had already toured 7 countries in Europe as part of their Fly High World Tour. Well, Dreamcatcher's reputation in other countries is in huge contrast with theirs in Korea. Even when they'll hardly ever get the massive like from their country like other girl groups, fans still hope that the talents of Dreamcatcher will soon be recognized by Korean audiences. Number 2. Everglow. While the group had a fairly good start in South Korea with the debut song Bon Bon Chocolat in 2019, they didn't manage to grow further in the domestic market with their following comebacks. Despite having been in the industry for 2 years with up to 5 promotions, Bon Bon Chocolat, Dun Dun, Adios, La Di Da, and First, they have just only gotten their first win on Music Show for Adios, and recently another one for First. The number of album sales was just okay-ish, with the highest being around 37,000 copies for the latest one, and the lowest for around 28,000 copies. In fact, you may not even need to look at these figures to know that Everglow isn't doing well in South Korea, because Forever themselves have also voiced about this matter multiple times on the internet. On Reddit, an article titled "Ateez and Everglow Will Never Make It Big in Korea" got up to 84% upvote, and fans had nothing to say but admit the truth that their fanbase is larger offshore than in South Korea. On top of that, the YouTube channel Kimchi or Dim Sum even made a video about why Everglow is not popular in Korea, and said that as to their content about Everglow, among thousands of viewers, no one had ever come from South Korea. However, in contrast to the nonchalant attitude of domestic fans, the group received quite a warm welcome from the international audience. Just with their debut song alone, Everglow had already peaked at number 5 on the World Digital Song Sales chart, selling 5,000 copies in the States as of August, which was 1/4 of the total sales in South Korea. As their reputation offshore was so great, just 11 months after their debut, Everglow was set to embark on their first everlasting tour in the States, going through 5 big cities: Dallas, Atlanta, Chicago, Jersey City, and Los Angeles. Number 3. Luna. Debuting in 2016 with a lineup of 12 members, Luna still struggles to thrive in the home market despite having gained a fair amount of achievements offshore. So basically, if they debut in 2016, then it has been 5 years since they entered the industry, right? Still, after tons of promotions, the first win on a music show they got was after the song So What was released in February 2020. Since their debut, the group has never gotten to set their foot in the top 20 of the girl group brand reputation rankings. And about their single albums, maybe it's hard to believe, but the highest number of copies they got was around 116,000, and the lowest being just over 61,000. What? With the nickname, the girl group that has invested 8 times more than Twice, those have never been good figures at all. However, in total contrast with their performance in the home market, Luna has been doing insanely well overseas. Until now, the group has made 4 achievements on Billboard's social chart system. Butterfly ranked number 6 in the digital song sales chart. The album XX ranked 4th at the world albums, just behind 3 albums of BTS, and reached 8th in the Heatseeker album chart. And you know what's even more mind-blowing? Luna even won the award of Outstanding Korean Artist at the MTV Europe Music Awards 2018, the time that they hadn't achieved anything in Korea.
Oh my god!
Of course, Luna's fans are well aware of this situation, but since their concept and music taste hasn't fit well with the general public in South Korea, there was nothing much to be done as fans themselves. Number 4. KARD. Until now, South Korea still has only one internationally famous co-ed act, and that is no doubt KARD. However, things haven't been so good for them in the domestic market, and the situation has been going on for so long that it's hard not to see opinions like, the public is sleeping on KARD, and KARD is literally nothing in South Korea. As an international K-pop fan, maybe you will find it hard to believe, but yes, their reputation was so low in the country that at one point, they prepared about 20 snacks for fans coming to see them at a music show, but ended up taking some back because 20 was still too much. After the group debuted in 2017, their single Oh Nana was met with international success, charting at number 4 on the US iTunes K-pop chart, and ranking at number 10 for the same iTunes chart in Japan, while also being reported to have entered music charts in the UK and France. Following the release of the song, Billboard magazine included KARD in its list of 10 best new K-pop groups in 2016, ranking at number 8, with the group making it into the list just 8 days after starting their pre-debut project. Oh Nana then became the group's first entry into the Billboard World Digital Song Sales Chart, with the song peaking at number 5, and remaining on the said chart for 8 weeks. Their successes offshore were so big that right in the year they debuted, the group had already embarked on their first concert tour, which was held in 11 cities covering Canada, the United States, Mexico, and Brazil. Back to the domestic side, things were quite gloomy. Until now, their achievements in South Korea were pretty unimpressive. No member of KARD has ever appeared on the top 20 of individual reputation rankings since debut, and on music shows, they haven't ever got any wins since debut. Their footprint on awards was also quite vague, because until now, they haven't had any big awards as well as nominations, besides 4 titles they earned in 2017 and 2019. Number 5. Ateez. Debuting in 2018 under KQ Entertainment as an 8-member boy group, Ateez quickly rose their fame on the international market, but didn't have many achievements in their home country. On Reddit, there was even a thread about how they could never go big in South Korea that received up to 84% upvotes. And on forums like Quora, it's not even hard to see things like, Ateez is popular internationally, but things are not like that in South Korea. Because according to netizens, their color of music, image, and concept is way too far from what the general public in Korea expects to see from a boy group. Though the group has already had 3 years working in the industry, they only got 2 mediocre awards in domestic markets, which were Golden Disc Awards 2019 Next Generation Award and Soribada Best K-Pop Music Awards 2019 Best Performance Award. However, on the international playground, the recognitions they got were super huge, since they bagged home 2 prestigious awards: Mnet 2019 Worldwide Fans' Choice and MTV EMA Awards 2019 Best Korean Act. You didn't hear it wrong. It's Best Korean Act. Moreover, just after 3 months of debut, which was January 2019 to be exact, Ateez announced their first tour, and guess where that was? It's the US! The group then extended the shows to Europe and performed at 10 more urban centers. Their tickets were completely sold out for all the shows. And in early June, Ateez once again extended their tour to Australia. As if that news wasn't good enough, in July 2019, they even signed an exclusive contract to RCA Records, and proved to the world that they would for sure go big in the future. Are there any other groups that you think deserve much more recognition in their home country since they're super big offshore? Comment below to share your thoughts with us. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to BeBoss TV, since there will be lots of fun waiting for you ahead. Thank you for watching.